Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we are finally getting around to finishing up this Sony receiver here, or at least I hope finishing it up. I apologize for making you guys wait so long for a resolution for this thing, but yeah, unfortunately my channel is not monetized, so if I'm not making money off this stuff, real life stuff has to come first, I'm sorry to say. But anyway, I did get my DigiKey order done for the big console stereo and this guy and one other project I haven't introduced you to yet. So hopefully we can make some progress with this thing today. Now I don't know exactly how much progress we're going to make. We might not be making any progress at all, but hopefully we'll be making some. And as long as I get some progress made with this thing, I'll keep it with me and maybe keep trying. But I gotta tell you, if I can't get this working at all today, if nothing works, I'm gonna probably recycle it. This has just taken up way too much of my time, and it's taking up way too much space in order for me to keep something that ain't working right. So let's go over what we figured out from last time, if I can even remember what we figured out last time. So what we figured out last time, I think, is that the relays were all working. Let me get you over here. Watch as my gimbal complains about the new iPhone again, making me wonder why I even own this gimbal. Anyway, what we figured out was all these blue relays down in here, they're working. They're passing a signal. It's just the signal isn't getting from the main circuitry into the preamps. And the reason, well, at least the reason I think we're not getting any signal through the preamps is because, I don't know if you can see it. Let me zoom you in. Try to. Anyway, the reason I think we're not getting signal through the preamps is all these capacitors down here, they're all fried. And maybe the resistors are too. So we're going to replace those today. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to come up here to the digital board and I'm going to replace all of these capacitors too. Because as you can see, they're next to some very warm running parts. And I'm fairly convinced those are also bad, which could be causing our issues with the signal switching not working. So as for the power supply itself, the main power supply is way back here. I am not doing anything there. Reason being, there's plenty of ventilation back here, and I just don't think it's all that likely that these parts need to be changed. I think most of the power supply issues we would have would come from this digital board because it regulates all the sub voltages that go throughout the rest of the unit. So yeah, we're going to change a bunch of these parts. And we're going to change all those capacitors down there and a few resistors as well. And then hopefully we'll get it going again. So these here are the parts I got from DigiKey. Some of this I got with a previous order. Like these parts I already had. I didn't need to reorder those. These will replace all the 220s down in the preamp section. A couple of these are 25 volts, but that shouldn't matter. They're all 10 volts in the unit itself. And we've got these parts here. These are 22 microfarad, 50 volts. Those will be for the preamp. Here's some resistors for the preamp. And then we've got these 470s at 16 volts. So all that's going to go in. And I think I'm going to do that off camera because I don't want to make this video too long and make you wait even longer. So how about I turn the camera off, I'll heat up the iron, which is right over yonder, and we'll start getting to work here. Then hopefully by the time we come back, everything's going to be working. I've got my RCA tape deck here for a signal source, so we're going to find out if signal switching works, but for the time being, we're going to replace the parts, go into DSP test mode, and we're going to see if it's passing that 1 kilohertz signal out through all the outputs. Because I am literally changing all of the capacitors for each one of the preamps, all 3 of them. So let's get started. So here I am working on the digital board and 1 capacitor in, and we've already got us a situation. Wonderful. See this here? Yep, that's a circuit board trace still attached to the frickin' capacitor. Like I need this today. This is the capacitor in question here. As you can see, I've already changed it, but I haven't addressed this broken trace issue yet. I don't know if you can see it real well, but it's supposed to go right up through here, up through there, and right to this little through hole here. And eventually it comes over and winds up at the positive for this capacitor. So guess what I got to do right now? I got to cut me a jumper wire and run it from here all the way over to there just to fix up this little frickin' situation here. Oh, this is going so well already. I hope the rest of this doesn't fight me quite like this, but I guess the only way to find out is to get into it again and see. So back when I've got something to report. Okay, as you can see, we've got our jumper wire in. Not too thrilled with having to do this, but you gotta do what you gotta do, I guess. I've already taken my meter and verified that there are no shorts anywhere between this wire and ground, so it should be okay. But as you can maybe see here, we had another little issue. Let me get my little dental pick here. The issue was the land from this capacitor also lifted off. So what I did was, since these 2 lands are connected together anyway, I just went ahead and pulled the capacitor lead over and soldered it to there. Because this board is shared with the next model up Sony receiver. And as you can see here, it's got spaces for much larger capacitors used in that next model up. So we should be okay. Now, let's see if I can get the rest of these capacitors done without doing any more damage. I think part of the problem here is this is like a computer circuit board, or like a computer motherboard. It's double-sided, so lots of tiny little traces you can damage, and you have to use a lot of heat for something like this. And the way I usually desolder parts from boards like this is to use the dental pick and sort of work the capacitors out and then chase the hole with the dental pick. But sometimes even that screws up, like you just saw with this little guy, and it's yeah. So I'm going to shut the camera back off again. I'm going to try to get the rest of these done, and then I'll move on to the main board, which is a lot easier to deal with than this, let me tell you, because it's only one-sided. I'll be back. Well, folks, there it is. We got the digital board done, but not without further drama. This one gave me trouble here. There's this little trace down in there. Probably can't see it. And I don't know if I can get some light in there to show it to you, but there's a trace that goes from that capacitor to this transistor, and that tore off the board on the component side. So what I did for that one, I cut a piece of insulation from some wire, and then I just brought the component lead right over to the transistor, so that shouldn't be a problem. And as mentioned before, I think the earlier jumper wire should be okay, so this should be okay to get back in the unit now, so hopefully it works. Like I said, if it doesn't work, she's off to the recycler, because I am real done with this thing now. Anyway, I still got that there main board to do, so I best get started on that. So I just got done replacing all the parts we were planning to replace on the front left and right channels in this unit. And I found something interesting that you guys might want to check out. See, these parts here are the ones I've replaced. All 4 of those capacitors. And then those 2 resistors right next to them. Those are the ones in the signal path. Right here. And the interesting part is these are the original capacitors in the signal chain. If I can get you situated a little better here. I don't know if you can read those. But one of these things is not like the other. And the problem is they're supposed to be like the other. They're supposed to be both 22 microfarads at 50 volts. And this one, oopsie, wrong value. Now I didn't put that in there, so that must have been done at the factory. Now you might be wondering to yourself, how could it possibly work that way if it's so far down in voltage compared to what it's supposed to be? Well, you got to remember this is in the signal path. So it's only seeing maybe about 4 volts maximum. If you think back to, or if you think to the world of car audio, you know that a lot of these aftermarket head units have maybe 3 or 4 volts output on the preamps. This is basically the same situation here. You're not dealing with a lot of voltage down there. So 10 volts would have worked. And as far as it being so far off value compared to what the other one was, 10 times, well, that might not have made enough of a difference to hear. But I just thought it was interesting all the same, so we'll see if it works any better when I get it back together. But for now, I've got the surround left and right, and I've got the center channel to do, so back in a bit. Well, folks, there it is. There's the pile of stuff I changed. And in hindsight, I probably should have gone with these 1/4 watt resistors as a replacement, but I did. No, not 1/4 watt, 1/8 watt. I got 1/4 watts as a replacement. They were a little hard to get the 1/4 watts in there, but they're in there. Now, let me set you up here, and it's time to see if anything actually works on this. Either I'm done or she's done. See if I can set you up here. Okay, now, I haven't plugged this in without you. We're going to see what happens together. I don't think anything's going to blow up, but you never know. I did have further trouble with some of the traces on the main board, but fortunately nothing too serious. Nothing like the digital board had. So, without any further ado, let's give this thing some juice. And see what explodes or doesn't explode. She's got power. Now the only thing left to do is go into DSP test mode and see what happens. No error, that's good. Oh, and it's in protect mode. Great. What now? I didn't really do anything around the power amp, so I don't know what's going on with this. Let me try one more time here. No error. Protect. Great. Give me a second. Maybe I shorted something out underneath the board. So apparently when you plug in the digital board on one of these things, you're supposed to connect everything. Yeah, I missed a connection way over in there somewhere. So hopefully we've got her going now. So let's just see what happens this time. No error. Protect. So that wasn't the problem. Oh, let me try again. Get back in there and see what's going on. Well, folks, I've been over this and over this thing, even to the point where I took the digital board back out and reinstalled it. And if there's anything significantly wrong that's causing the protection circuit to kick in, I can't find it. I mean, I'm not sure. I can't really see that me replacing that one capacitor with the correct value would have caused it. But then again, I don't know what the monkey who got in here before me did to it. Because this thing was missing all kinds of screws when I got it. So clearly someone's been inside it. So hopefully it's working now. And I won't have to give up on it. Because make no mistake, if I see that protection come on one more time, we're done with this. I just have better things to do than mess with this thing anymore. We're dealing with obsolete technology as it is, so I'm not going to lose too much sleep if it has to go off to the recyclers tomorrow. I just have to be done with it now, so she's plugged in again. Let's see what happens. No error again. Protect. Done. Sorry guys, but that's it for this thing. Off to the recycler she goes. Sorry I couldn't give you a better result on this one, but that's the way it goes sometimes. Take care.